sunshine, everybody. It's time to wake and bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
The Stoned Roadie Show, podcast 225, Wake and Bake, the Morning Buzz, episode 102. Action. Well, good morning, fellow Earthlings. Looky here, looky here. Hey, it's Wake and Bake, the Morning Buzz, and it's Friday, September the 27th. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stoned Roadie, also known as the world's most famous roadie that ever existed in the dawn of time, since the dawn of time, since the dinosaurs roamed this fat, flat earth. And with me, as always, is my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. So what the heck we going to talk about today? It's going to be hard to beat the last couple of shows we had the last couple of times. People have been really commenting on how good you did on them last couple of shows there, Griff. So,
the good one's coming up because I got Gene Odom at the end here, and I went over to Gene's house yesterday, and he was in rare form. When you catch Gene every now and then, you catch him in rare form. Like, for example, we go to the restaurant there. I wish I had this on video, and there's a skinny guy, and he's walking up to the restaurant, and we're ahead of him to get into the door, and Gene stops and opens the door and goes, "Go ahead, buddy. You need to get in there more than we do." So anyway, I laughed at that, and then we went out to Gene's house, and he's got some stuff he's cleaning out, kind of doing like what you need to do, Craig, clean out some stuff, you know. He's donating some Hell House wood, dock wood, and it's some pretty cool boards. And then he's got a guitar that's got the Dean Kilpatrick drawing on it, which is I'd say a pretty valuable guitar, and he's selling that. And then I gave him a little cypress wood thing with that drawing on it that I put on the shirts, and he's going to make a table out of that. But you guys will see it in the video here at the end. I'll put it on in the end, and wait till you hear Gene talk about when Ronnie started getting fat. Is some of it censored? So if you got little kids in the room, I put a little thing on there. I'll put a thing on there that says, "Get ready for it," to get them out of the room, because and you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh your ass off at Gene. It's hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, and then on a serious note, Craig and I don't necessarily know what's going on. We kind of have an idea, but Johnny Van Zant, you know, he's always, helping people out with prayers and things like that. But he's going through some stuff with his daughter, I understand. We're not sure what it is, but he's going through some hard times himself now. So, you guys look out for old Johnny and the family over there. I saw something on Facebook, and so did Craig. So prayers for Johnny Van Zant and his family for what they're going through. I'm sure most of you know what it is, probably more than me and Craig do, or Craig and I. So, if you're a fan on his page or whatever, go over there and shoot him a few words of encouragement. And Craig, you said you just ordered a bunch of letters of authenticity, so you're moving in a good direction, man. For
yeah,
mailing some stuff out.
Get ready. I ordered up three dozen of my documents of authenticity and in the gold trim that I sign so proficiently, so you can put it up on your wall and go, looky here, So I'm sending out a couple of documents of authenticity for all the stuff I'm sending out. So
yeah,
I'm getting ready.
We give Craig a bunch of crap, but I guarantee you, when you get that package, you're going to be like, oh my God. I mean, it's going to be nice. It's going to be really nice, and it's going to be valuable
It'd
too.
be worth the wait. Plus, you'll have a story to tell now that you go. I had to wait forever, but man, it finally got here and it was pretty cool. But damn it, I had to wait forever, and I was pissed. I was calling that some bitch everything but a white boy.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys keep every now and then keep throwing a jab in there, keep him moving, and I'll read the comment to him, so it'll keep him like a little cattle prod. You guys don't let up, because I don't I don't want him to forget again.
I've been waiting for somebody to accuse me of stealing this money that's being sent in, but that ain't happened yet. I'm proud of y'all.
On the contrary, I sent Craig a couple checks that for donation, and I think it's been like a month, and he ain't cashed them yet.
They're still over there. I just throw all
He's
that stuff
screwing up
in
my
an envelope.
checkbook.
I do it. I see. I don't keep a checkbook. Whatever the bank tells me that's in there, it's in there. I can't. You can't fight with them. It don't matter.
Yeah, but you'll get the stuff. And
Yeah. Well,
also,
there's checks in there that been in there longer than yours. Trust me.
well, you better hurry up before they expire.
I just like I said, I had to clear out that bank account, and then I kept everything in there, and I've been taking checks and putting them in there a little at a time.
There's one comment in here a guy left is hilarious when I get to it, and we only got like 10 comments in here because we got 30 minutes of Gene Odom at the tail end of this, so we're not going to be on here that long. But we got 10 comments, and somebody commented about Craig in there and his little slow to mail stuff antics. But it's kind of funny. I thought it was funny. And then you got Mike Sparks. You got a hold of Mike Sparks.
Oh yeah, Mike Sparks will be on there Monday. Yeah, we had got Mike Sparks coming on Monday. That should be
Yeah.
have a lot of skin formation in it.
Oh yeah.
But
He's a
well,
guy.
not about the original band. It'll be he came aboard during Rossington Collins. During Rossington Collins, it was basically just me and him. And Alan Collins, it was strictly just he and I. And yeah, he's going to tell this story about the Lone Star Cafe on his perspective of what happened up there at the Lone Star when Alan walked off stage, and that was the end of the Alan Collins band. I think I've told my story, and we're going to hear his story. And then, like I said before, when we found out about Kathy Collins, Alan's wife, dying, and they were in the middle of a show, and they wanted me to fly back with Alan on the plane back to Jacksonville, and I said no, have Mike go because I was wanted to make sure everything went in the right trucks and everything, and Mike really that wasn't really his job, so I said go ahead and have Mike go with him, so he's going to tell the story about what happened in the car when Alan told him, or Larkin told him about about Kathy dying, and then and then what happened on the airplane, and then when they got back to Jacksonville, he's got a kind of an interesting thing about what Alan was doing when they got home. He went home with him, so yeah, I don't want to ruin anything, but yeah, he's got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, that's going to be good. We're kind of having a run on the skin formation. We haven't been talking a lot about fat people, but that's why I asked Gene about that story about when Ronnie started getting fat, so we could meld it with the Skynyrd. We could have fat and Skynyrd joins together.
I've been watching this thing on FakeBook. I don't know where this thing come from, but the guy's been interviewing a bunch of women that call in, I guess, wanting to find men or whatever. And he says, well, how tall are you? Oh, I'm 5'4". How much you weigh? 180, 200, 250.
Yeah.
And oh, it's pretty comical, but yeah, I don't know.
But true.
Yeah, 5'4", 180 seems to be about average.
Yeah, they were comparing. They were doing studies of people, their size from 1974 to now, and it's like it's completely outrageous. I think it's like a third more fat people, than then, and it's like the youth even, or because all they're doing is they got their tablets and they're running around with their tablet and their cell phone and they're eating this junk.
Well,
And
it's the food. They're putting stuff
yeah,
in the food that makes
it's
them
crappy
addicted
food.
to this certain food, and it's that
Yeah,
oh God, what
fast
is
food,
it? Corn, high
high
fructose,
fructose. Yeah,
and it's the oh God, the corn seed oil.
yeah.
They used to use that for lubricant, like
They fry
oil.
French fries with it, and then and she said, the lady said that
Oh,
people used to go out to eat. They would eat a pack of French fries in maybe a month, once a month, because you didn't go out to dinner that often. You only went out to dinner like once a month. You know, uh, I remember when I was in high school, we'd go to McDonald's a couple times a week. We didn't go there every day, but like you said, though, it was probably real hamburger back then. Now it's that slime.
well, eggs. I mean, all the eggs that are in these breakfast sandwiches. I think McDonald's is the closest one out of the top 5 or 10 that actually uses almost a real egg in it. The other ones are just some kind of a gum thing and starch, and they just throw
Yeah,
everything
just a
together. It's not even an egg. They call it an egg sandwich. I don't know what's wrong with the FDA and all these people that allow this. It's
yeah.
insanity.
I guess they're bought off. But moving right along, I see there that we got a few more subscribers that I haven't recognized. So I kind of went through and picked some of out that I didn't recognize and used their comments, and welcome aboard and thanks for subscribing. And anybody else that's watching, what we kind of do is we just bullshit about anything really, but a lot of it's Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff and bands and things like that. And people comment and we read the comments and then we bullshit about it. And it's just jibber jabber, right, Craig?
Yeah, I don't have the exact question with me, but somebody knew, I guess, because I have our podcast. I have it in a lot of different categories, and somebody picked it up, and they were kind of inquiring if our podcast was kind of oh, what do you say, sponsored or acknowledged or whatever by the current tribute band, and I had to kind of tell them that we're we're acknowledged by and approved, I guess, by every Lynyrd Skynyrd tribute band across the country except for the main one, and yeah, they don't
Yeah.
really acknowledge our existence, and they don't really acknowledge the memorial, the site out there either.
Yeah, the monument. Yeah, they don't
The
acknowledge it.
monument. Or Ronnie's ex or widow,
Widow. Yeah.
Ronnie's widow put up 20 grand toward it when it first opened, and her and her family and Steve's family went out there and
Yeah, they actually do involve themselves with it, you know.
yeah, and they did, but yeah, the rest of the tribute band of the management and stuff, they don't want anything to do with don't want to seem to want to have anything to do with the monument or this podcast or me.
Yeah, they don't even
Like
want
you-
Craig
like
at the concert.
if you remember, I tried to go to one of the shows and showed up backstage and tried to get in the back door, and they sent a message out that I wasn't welcome, and then tried to cover up and say, oh, Craig, he knows you can, that ain't the way you can do it, but they knew what they were doing. It was the management that don't want me in, but that's okay, no big deal. But
Yeah,
yeah, we're not supported by the uh, tribute band but we don't have anything against them. We
no,
support them. They just don't support us. So,
yeah,
but they don't support the whole. They don't support any of the forgotten survivors at all. They haven't since the plane crash. They haven't supported anybody that was on the plane. So, that's just the way it goes.
but we like them. We like,
Oh yeah.
the musicians. They are great musicians, and they they play great music, but they don't really have much to say. There's probably a political reason behind it for whatever reason, but I mean, it doesn't mean it makes it right, because I go by what I think Ronnie Van Zant would think. He would, not saying that they're doing anything wrong, but I just know that he would be supporting. Don't you
Well,
think, Craig?
I watched some of the Gene Odom thing where what was the I'll never forget you, and I just reposted that on FakeBook, and then I caught the part where Leslie was going, you think these people are your friends, and we were supposed to be insured and this and that and the other thing, and then all of a sudden it was see you later, alligator, after a while, crocodile. You didn't hear nothing from them after that, so I thought they were
Yeah.
my friends. It's the same thing with my films. When I was dealing with them about my films, I thought they would be straight up with me, and I thought they were my friends, but then I found out I was mistaken.
Well, you did try to pee on them. I'll never forget. You said, Craig, I think it was Larry Tate or somebody said, Craig, his quote was, I peed on the rug. I didn't pee on anybody.
Behind the curtains.
You hit a few curtains,
I
didn't
might
you?
have hit the curtains. I don't know.
You were out of your mind, man, But yeah, so we go ahead and go over these comments and questions, and then I got a couple things that we'll talk about before we show the video that I got to show you.
I
So
imagine I peed on the door before I got it open.
well, they had to have a cleaning truck come in there and sanitize that damn thing. Oh,
It's
okay.
a night I'll never forget. Although when I woke up the next morning, I didn't remember it, but I remember it now.
Was that the last time you rode on the bus?
Well, no, they dropped when they told me I needed to go home, and they were coming this way, so I talked the bus driver into just dropping me off down at the end of the road. So they did. They went a little bit out of the way and dropped me off at home
Oh, okay.
instead of taking me to the airport. That was nice of them.
Yeah. I mean, to fire you and give you a ride. I mean, okay, let's jump into the comments and questions. Autumn Honecker, Craig, we know JoJo was close to Ronnie. Who in the band were Cassie and Leslie close to?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Well, I know Leslie loved Ronnie. She just thought he was the greatest guy in the world. So I would
I
say
don't really know.
Leslie and
I was kind of close to him a little bit. But as far as band guys, I don't know. Didn't really
everybody had to
hang
like
out.
Steve. I mean, Steve was a
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
guy.
Everybody's hung around with Steve. I guess Steve. I guess in the pictures I see him more with Steve than anybody.
Yeah, I mean, being Cassie's brother and in a normal guy who's less likely to grab ass and pretty
I
civilized.
don't know. That's something I really didn't even pay any attention to. We just,
Yeah, you know.
everybody just hung around with each other. Whether were, we were all just a big family. Whoever you were sitting by, you just talked to. you know,
Yeah.
So wasn't like a
Inquiring minds
favorite.
want to know.
Wasn't like a favorites thing. I don't think.
Okay, well, let's see. Cheesehead says here is an incentive to get the prizes out, Craig. Do it before the election because when Harris the hoe, and I added that to it, he didn't say that, uh, gets in there, she's going to put a tax on the gifts. And so, yeah, that's what we want you. He wants you to get the
That's
prizes
true.
out before she taxes the gifts. Or I would say that ain't what you got to worry about. What you got to worry about is a world war. A nuclear bomb goes off, and then you're not going to care about a
Oh,
prize.
we're going to war. We're going to be in a war with
Yeah,
Russia.
that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, we are.
They got to stop it.
Yeah.
They got to flip the chess table over
Uh,
because they're losing. But if they can't
I don't
steal
know
it,
how the script is written, but it'll be written that we're going to have some kind of a conflict with Russia,
there's some kind
in
of
my opinion.
a union notification or union vote out in California or whatever, big shipping union thing, and they say that if that doesn't get ratified or whatever, it's going to be
Oh,
really
there's all kind
bad.
of little things happening. It's crazy.
I think they want to. I think they want to. The next thing is they want to try to. I've got this feeling they want to try to starve people. I don't know why. I think they made everybody fat and happy, and now now they're going to pull the food away, and you're going to have
Well,
to
you
live off
take
your
all these
fat.
people that are addicted to food, you take their food away, man. It's going to get crazy,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
man.
Yeah. Especially when you're
People can't go
250 pounds.
people can't go 3 hours without eating.
Mm.
You take away the food
I
for a
might be
day or
one of
two,
them.
they're going to go insane. They'll go absolutely insane.
What I do, Craig, is I kind of nibble all day. I'm not like a sit down, have a meal guy very often, maybe, once a day, but after that, I don't eat to have a meal again. I just like nibble around. Um, that's how I've always done, I guess. Not that I'm Mr. Slim by any means. Oh, okay, let's drop down here and scooter weed. I think that's a new one. I don't know. Have you heard of scooter weed?
Nope.
Uh, Great show. Can you get Randall Hall on the show? Well, I actually have Randall Hall's number. I think he accidentally sent me a text the other day. I don't think it was meant for me, but I saw where he sent the text, and I was thinking, I would talk to him and maybe. But here's the thing about Randall is he's got a gag order on him, I think, to talking about Skynyrd stuff from when he left the band. From what I hear rumor of is there's not a whole lot he can talk about. Now he could talk about the days of out, and he'd been out to Hell House and I believe for sure, and and he's got a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with things. So I believe I could probably get old Jimmy Withers and go out on his porch of doom, and he would invite Randall over. That might happen, but that would have to be something that I'd have to set up with Jimmy and then get him to get Randall to agree. But
Well, he was really involved with Slowpoke, like they were talking about
yeah.
on that other podcast with Joe Crimp.
But of course, he was an Alan Collins band, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
But yeah, we can kick that around a little bit. Next time I see Jimmy, maybe I'll hit him with that. And if anybody wants to ask Randall that's watching this that knows him and says, "Hey, I want to get you on the podcast," and you can do that, well, that'll work even better. As a matter of fact, I like that method more than anything, and that goes for anybody.
Maybe you could just go on the road with Griff Martin and go do one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I could go on a porch of doom with Jimmy and do it. and maybe even get Derek Hess over there at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be good, huh?
Yeah, they're
They
all
were in the
all
Allen
nice
Collins
guys.
band together.
Yeah. So okay, Scooter Weed, and I'll kind of, I ain't gonna promise anything, but I'll work on it. I'll try. Um, Steve Jones, I honestly believe Cassie boarded the plane because Steve did. Um, and also, if Ronnie was with Gene talking to the pilots, they never would have taken off. Could be true. I don't know. When did Ronnie get on the plane, Craig? Do you remember? Did he get
I
on
was the
last or
last one on the plane that I
you were?
remember. Because I was there at the hotel putting everybody in taxis, and because we didn't have cars, those limousines didn't show up, and so we had to get taxis, and we had to get all the luggage and everything there in separate vehicles. So I was kind of putting that all together with a tremendous hangover. And I
Yeah.
was like one of the last ones to get there. And I just remember going up those stairs on the back of the plane, and just that the card table there was right at the end, and I usually play cards, so there was a seat there open. So Mark Howard slid over so I could sit on the aisle seat um, uh, on the plane, and that's all I remember. And then we were playing cards, and then the plane crash happened. I don't remember a lot about that.
Yeah, Ronnie, he might have just got on with everybody else. And
Yeah, I don't, I
I
remember Cassie being real apprehensive about getting on that plane and going, "I'm gonna ride on the truck. I'm not riding on that plane." I remember her saying that. So
and I think that's probably true that she got on there because maybe, you know, Steve got on there and then the other, you know, Leslie and JoJo wasn't there, but Leslie got on and yeah, you know, she probably was kind of felt, but here's the thing though, it was not the plane's fault. That's what we have to remember.
yeah, it was
It
the
was the
pilots. The
pilots.
dang plane would have flown.
Yeah, it was the pilot's fault. So it wasn't the plane. Um, James Keneally. I think I might have got that right. This show is collecting history of the greatest band of all time, always learning something new. Yeah, you know, man, if you just started recently watching, we're kind of like on a run here with some skin formation. You know, it dries up every now and then you have to put up with some political talk and fat talk and stuff that's, you know, probably not what some people want to hear, but other people's don't mind. And but it's try to keep it humorous. So yeah, yeah, appreciate that. And then John Hartline, damn Griff, good thing you weren't stampeded by people wanting pics with Shelby. She's one fine woman. Yeah, man, I hope you ain't married now because, you know, the ladies don't like when you start talking about other women. Um, but yeah, Shelby, she's a sweet girl. You know, I tell you what, she's if you ever wanted a daughter, that's the girl right there because she's just cool like that, you know. She's just a cool kid, you know. I think of her as a kid, but she's just cool, you know, and she's an old soul and she likes old rock and roll music and she's very attractive and she's really a presence. And that's why we got her to be our Stonette because of all of those qualities, and she delivers a nice entry to our podcast. So, yeah, we love Shelby, and we're glad everybody else does.
I love
Um,
talking to her. I love her accent.
yeah, she
She's
got
got a
that,
real cute
and her
accent.
mom is cool, man. Her mom, I never met her dad, but her mom is really cool. I think she gets her personality from her mother and a lot of it, but you know, I'm sure her father's like a lineman, you know, a power pole lineman, but he's like a manager or something. And so he couldn't come up with, I don't think he would have come up with it anyway, but he works a lot. So, But I think Shelby's getting ready to move back to Jacksonville. She was there for a little while, and then she left, and now she's trying to go back. And she mentioned to me she might have a job with
Harley
Harley
Davidson.
Harley Davidson,
Yeah.
which they're woke now. So I'd go buy me an Indian before I'd go buy me a Harley now. But anyway, let me see here. Let's move right along down to happy endings, which I've never heard of happy endings before. Maybe sorry about that if you have been on here before, but says first paying gig for Lynyrd Skynyrd was with ZZ Top. Does that sound right, Craig? I don't know.
First paying gig with Lynyrd Skynyrd was with ZZ Top.
That's what he said.
What
I
year
don't know.
would that have been?
I don't know. So write us back in with that. They're happy endings. We don't know exactly.
They didn't play with ZZ Top before I got with them, and there was a lot of shows that they got paid for before they did a show with ZZ Top.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Okay. Well, I thought it was something that you might know, Craig, but I damn sure don't.
No,
Leo, 69. Pray for Johnny Van Zant and daughter's going through emergency surgery. Yeah, something to do with some kind of a surgery. So you guys, prayers for Johnny, the nicest guy in rock and roll. I'm the guy who coined that because he is a nice guy. Sammy Joe says, I heard in an interview with Gary, and he said they were leaving the bar, which is, she's talking about the jug. They were talking and laughing, and from the back seat, Alan said, I was cutting a rug down at a place called the Jug. And then after that, they wrote the song in 5 minutes. Well, I got that question to Gene on the video here at the end, and he said Joe Crimp probably knows that story, and I think Gene kind of is like on the same lines of Craig, where he heard something about that store down there on Russell Road, and he thinks that's what happened. That the guys were practicing. They went down to the store to get a little snack, and then on the way back they heard them coming, and they still hadn't written a song. They were going to write a song, but before they got back, and they pulled it off somehow. That supposedly is the story.
I swear that's the story Gary told me.
Yeah.
But then I heard a couple of contradicting stories, and so I was, kind of confused.
Yeah, and Gary supposedly said this, but I've heard Gary say stuff too, like, like the baseball hit Bob Burns in the head, and Gene said it hit him in the head, it hit him in the back. So,
that's what I heard too. I heard it didn't really hit him in the head, it hit him in the back.
And it didn't knock him out, So there's some embellishing going on with everything. Yeah. Rich Johnson, has Kimmy weighed in yet? Let me know when the coast is clear. No, I don't have Kimmy on here this time. I was trying to leave it open for some new people. Brian Madison. Ed King said while playing Steve Gaines' parts in the tribute band, they were difficult and he was butchering them. I think I remember an interview about that. Yeah, I do. I think I remember something about that. But he did respect Steve Gaines, and he loved the fact that they replaced him with Steve Gaines, because I remember I used to text back and forth with Ed King, and I was like late. He and I were laid up at the same time, and it'd be about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be texting with him and asking him questions about stuff, and he that's where he told me that those guys didn't want him in the band, that Ronnie was the one that wanted him in the band. So if it weren't for Ronnie, he wouldn't have been in the band because they didn't want him in there. So yeah, that's the end of the questions, Craig, but I want to go ahead and set up this video with Gene, and he's gonna you're gonna see he signed this book here that Brian Bodkin donated. And Gene, this book is an original copy that came out of the 80s. Gene said the first 10,000, and it was never signed. And Brian Bodkin signed it. I mean, gave it, and Gene signed it. And you can see he wrote a little something in there. And so we're going to auction this off, and the money's going to go to Gene. I saw a unsigned book on Amazon, and you could probably go check it for $155, and it's unsigned. Then Kent Griffith sent this to me. It's a Lynyrd Skynyrd, Coach Lynyrd Skynyrd signature on an article about him, and a little cartoon over here on this side. But it says to Koila or Kayla, which I don't know if that matters to you. You see Craig's, Craig, is your email up there behind you?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, if anybody wants the book or the or this piece of paper or anything that Gene talks about in his video, then take down Craig's post office box his email, not his post office box, his post office box, and ask him about it, and he'll get to me, and then we'll figure it out. And then if anybody's got any donations, it goes to his P.O. box up there, and we read them all off on the air. And thank you for doing it. So next is the Gene Odom video there, Craig, and you guys watch that, and you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh at old Gene on this one. It's hilarious.
But my nephew donated this when Billy Powell was out at a rehab facility in California. A doctor out there, I guess his name was Joe, because that's what it says here on the thing. To Joe from Billy Powell, best wishes. But this is a Bill Blass designer vest, but it's a small, and I wear a medium, and it's just a little bit small for me, but it's a real nice vest, and we're putting that up for auction. And I talked about it last week, but I thought I'd mention it again this week since it was sitting right there beside me. But yeah, we'll get right into the Gene Odom video with I guess we call this another On the Road with Griff Martin. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a hanging with Gene.
On the Road with Griff Martin and Gene Odom, and that video's coming right up, and I guess we'll call that a wrap. See you later, alligator, at the Wild Crocodile, and cut.
All right, I'm over here at Gene's house, and Gene has something here that he wants to donate to the Stoned Roadie show. What you got here, Gene?
A Pepsi. I'm not donating this. This is wood off of the Hell House dock, and some ends of it where it was up against the bank for 1,000,000 years. Those two pieces were on the end that I cut off of some of the original wood that was up under there forever, so they're a little rotted or whatever. And this dry one was the outside edge of a piece that I was eat up. You can see with the water damage on it, some of it is. And this is all there is. There's no more Hell House dock. What was left, I think Chris is his name, the guy that bought the property, starting this week to build his house, or this week I think. What was left of the Hell House dock, some of it was back up under there. He's going to build him a bar, what do you call it, a whiskey bar, or
like a gazebo or tiki bar, yeah.
And he's going to use the wood that was left, and the actual the poles that were supporting the dock, he's cut those off. He's going to use those as the legs of his bar, and the wood that was left underneath there that he kept, he's going to use it for his bar. But this is all that's left, and I'm donating that to Griff and Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie podcast, and they're gonna do something with them, raffle them off, do something, whatever they're gonna do to help the survivors. And I'm one of them.
Yeah, you're one of.
I'm not even sure I survived that damn thing, but I want to say this, and to all you people on that podcast, y'all have my arm. Some of y'all have donated in the past, and it's helped us out. Mark Frank, Mark Howard, Gene Odom, Leslie Hawkins. And I immensely am honored and proud that you folks would do something like that to help survivors out, you know. And Craig and Griff are going to do something with this, so if you're interested, this is part of the...
Yeah, there was a guy, and I apologize for not remembering his name, but he just donated like $50 to Gene Odom. So they come in weekly, you know, and every little bit adds up. So when you guys donate, you know...
Let me show you what that money that Craig just sent me, it was $1,000. Let me show you what it has done for me.
Oh, okay. Little show and tell.
This is the last one, supposedly.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with it because I remember you pulled your shirt off last time I was over here. Yeah, Gene got a little...
See those right there?
Yeah.
I got those yesterday, and I've had 9.
Yeah, there's another one that was right there. That's the one that whenever I came over, you had stitches in it, and I pulled your shirt, helped you pull your shirt off and get it.
And
yeah, that stuff's expensive when they start biopsying
all
that.
I have is Medicare, and you know I have quite a bit of bills, Medicare. So that money that those people have donated and Craig donated has helped me pay this Florida dermatology to cut these cancers out. Some of them are melanoma, a couple of them are fast-spreading melanoma, carcinomas, whatever. You know, the rest of them, and that money that people have donated has helped me pay what Medicare didn't pay, and I got the bill paid off yesterday. Thank God.
Well, we got some more.
I'll get it for this new one, but I'll get it done.
Yeah, we got some more money coming. Craig's got to go through and figure out who gets what. But yeah, you guys, when you donate, this is what happens. You know, you're helping these guys out, and then they try to help out too by passing on stuff like this to our subscribers, and you know, this is part of history, and it's going to the right place because the guys that need it will be who gets it.
That this was on you can tell with the nail. This was on the top of this was the original wood from the original Hell House, not with those goons put that dock on top of the new dock on top of the old. This is the original wood that Ronnie Van Zant stood on or sat down on, squatted down on when he wrote Sweet Home Alabama. When he Ronnie walked down the dock and come back in with Sweet Home Alabama.
There.
This is the wood that Ronnie Van Zant.
Hold that up in your hand there, Gene, just like you playing it like a guitar or something there, so people can see. Yeah, that's Ronnie's fishing buddy right there. Stood on that wood and wrote all those great tunes, and Gene's donating it to the subscribers of the Stoned Roadie Show, and we're going to use it to give back to the plane crash survivors. Well, we appreciate it, Gene.
I do appreciate it. You know, every little bit helps. You know, I'm not like the Van Zants and them people from Skynyrd, all millionaires, multi-millionaires. I've been on Social Security for 34 years, you know, and this Craig Reed and his Stone Roadie podcast has helped me, you know, and other survivors immensely. And I'm honored that you folks would donate and out of your goodness of your heart. And
all right, thank you, Gene.
It has helped. Okay, man.
This is the Gene Odom Blue Book that Brian Bodkin donated to the podcast that we're going to sell, and the money's going to go to Gene, and Brian was good enough to donate this.
We'll date it.
And
the date is 9/25.
yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
And so this, and Gene, you said this is an original book too, right? This isn't.
It is original. This is the original book. And it's in such remarkable shape. It's been put on the shelf somewhere and just left.
Yeah, he said he got it back back when they first came out, and he didn't get a chance to get you to sign it, but now we just took care of that. So
this and it's just exactly like it was brand spanking new off the shelf.
Yeah, it hadn't been anywhere but Brian's house. So, and you don't sell those anymore, do you, Gene?
No, man, I ain't, not since 1983.
I saw one on Amazon for sale for $155.
Yeah.
But that wasn't signed by Gene Odom, so this makes it even better.
This is this is in great shape. I mean, like immaculate shape.
And what'd you say the story was about Alan said finished that book and
yeah, he was putting Alan Collins band together, and he told me, he said, "Hey, ain't you writing that little book you're trying to do?" I said, "Yeah, I just about finished with it." He said, "Well, hurry up and finish it. So you gonna publish it yourself?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You can sell them with me and do my merchandising for the Alan Collins band." And so I had some Alan Collins band T-shirts and jerseys printed up, and these 10,000 of these books. And we started out on tour. He only played about 4 or 5 shows or something like that back then. And he broke that band up because he didn't like the singer. He broke that band up, and I was left with those shirts. I took the damn Alan Collins band shirts to Goodwill. Oh my God, I should have kept them shirts.
oh yeah,
I'd be a millionaire. 2,500 Alan Collins band jerseys and T-shirts I took to Goodwill. Stored these up in a storage unit. And here you go. Danny Joe Brown, Molly Hatchet. We were good buddies. He called me up and said, "Hey Gene, man, you still got them books?" "Yeah, I got them in a storage unit." He says, "Well, man, come on out with us and do security for us and just hang out. And you can sell them books at our shows." They're playing clubs back then. And he says, "You can sell what you can, and we'll help you out." I said, "Yeah." So I traveled around with him for a year. I'd sell 20, 15, 25, 30, 20, 15, 18, 17 a night at them clubs. And I ended up selling half of what I had. And then I sold the rest of them, one here, one there, and finally got rid of them, And I wish I had 1,000 of them now. I could get rich off of them, but wishing in one hand and pissing the other one to see which one gets full first.
We were talking. We were over there at the Jawbreaker Cafe, and you were telling the story about. I reminded you. I said, "Tell me that story again, Gene, about where Ronnie was wearing the 29 waistline pants." And he said, and you said, "Well, you're getting fat." And he said, "Well, I ain't changing." You said, "Well, you need to go get some." Tell that story, Gene.
You can see the pictures of him wearing them tight jeans. Musicians like to wear tight jeans, but Ronnie Van Zant wore them because at one time he was 29 in the waist. And so he kept buying 29 jeans. And, and I made fun of him one day, and more tight jeans on there. I said, "You look like you got a damn old New Jersey vagina there, man. You need to get some big, tighter, some 32 jeans, 31, 32. Man, I don't wear 32s, I wear 29s. I said, "You used to wear 29s. You need to be wearing 31s. And I was about to convince him to start wearing 31s. I told him, I said, "You'll still look good in them." I said, you just won't look like you got a New Jersey vagina, And then he was gone.
What's the New Jersey vagina look like, though?
Look at some of them pictures of Ronnie Van Zant with them tight jeans, and all you see is a bulge there. You don't see no outline of a pecker. It looks like a vagina. I don't have any pictures.
What we got here?
Some people had this made up for me. To Gene Odom from Dave Denning. This is the guy in South Carolina that makes.
Oh yeah,
makes
that's
those
Dave
things.
the Disciple.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always doing good, cool stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I need to sign this. We need to put this on the podcast and try to make some money.
Yeah, speaking of that, you say you want to show this guitar off over here, and
Yeah, man.
and maybe
Here's your thing about with the fat.
yeah, there's the painting that
I'm telling you.
that was actually a reject that I was painting the original, and I showed this to Joe Crimp, and the water was blue, and Joe Crimp said, "Man, the water wasn't blue; it was black." And so I threw the damn thing behind the closet door in there and started all over, and then and then I pulled it out and started messing with it, and I changed the watercolor on it and finished it up and showed it to you, and you said, "Give me that, son."
That thing's nice. Look at here. Also, we can put these on the podcast. These are old antique skis.
Yeah, these are some old ones.
Yeah, and they're in perfect condition. If anybody wanted these, we can put on the podcast and highest bidder.
Yeah, anybody wants some skis? Gene's unloading some stuff here, man.
Yeah, I don't ski.
Yeah, you could ski with those if we had some snow, but we don't have any
We
snow
don't
down
have
here.
much snow down here in Florida.
Well, let's take a look at this damn guitar over here, and
All right.
what's really cool about it is it's got the Dean Kilpatrick drawing on the back of it that the fella etched in there. And look at that. That is that drawing that was on the album cover. What was that album cover, Gene? I should know that.
Oh, my me too. But this was on the back wall in the recording studio there at Riverside Avenue.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy did a
And
great
it's
job.
pretty daggone detailed.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a story on everybody in here, and Craig could tell that whole story because he knows everything about it. And I think Craig's in there somewhere with some smoke coming up out of the back.
Yeah, let's see. He's let's see. I think that's. Let me see.
I thought he was back in the back over here somewhere, and there was some smoke coming up, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's him right there.
Is that?
I think so. Yeah, got a flower for. He's looking at Leslie. And yeah, and that was a road manager.
And you're wanting to sell this guitar. What do you think you want to get out of it, Gene?
I don't know. Whatever the most we can get out of it.
Well, I tell you what we'll do. What's the brand on it? Let's take a look at the brand here.
Go ahead.
It's I don't believe I even
Madeira.
Madeira.
It ain't no fancy guitar.
Yeah, it's
There you go. Madeira model 30M by Guild.
oh, it's a Guild. Okay.
Adjusted and distributed exclusively by Guild.
Yeah, it's a nice guitar. I would say that thing ought to fetch at least $1,000, at least. But
Well, that's one of a kind on the back.
we'll put it on the podcast. We'll have this on the podcast, and then we'll see who might want it. And Gene's got it, and you get in touch with us. You know, you can get us through Craig's contact information, and anybody that's interested. That Gene sure could use the money, because you know he's I think that ought to help you out a little bit, you know.
Shoot, yeah.
What you got there? Photo album of you doing some fishing?
Yeah, this guy's son. Man, he said, "You talking about them big bass? You ain't caught no big bass." I said, "Let me show you the picture, boy. This is his daddy's boat. And I caught all these big bass. You see how these 10, 11, 12-pound bass that Gene Odom caught?
Yeah, that's
And,
a bunch of bass.
That's, This is some, that's another one. There's 4. Every one of them goes over 10 pounds except that one.
And what about those ones on the wall there? What happened to them? Where'd they go?
Joe Cavello, my Jersey buddy, big Skynyrd fan. He's about 25 years younger than me. He come down one day, and coming through, and I had him stored up. He said, "Man, he's a good guy." And I had also a big mahi dolphin that I'd caught. And he said, "Gene Odom, man, my God, I'd like to have them, put them on my wall, get them repainted and everything." And so I said, "All right, man, tell you what, you take them." So he took and had them repainted, hung them on his wall. He still got them. He's got Gene Odom's bass hanging on his wall.
Yeah, I always said just about everything you ever collected, you always gave it away.
Yeah. Oh, he loves having them bass.
Any pictures of you with Ronnie in there anywhere?
Man, no, me ironworking.
You guys didn't take much pictures of that back in the day. Yeah, there's some ironworking stuff in there, huh?
Yeah, me ironworking. Mickey Mouse. Me dressed up as Mickey Mouse.
Where? You're dressed up as Mickey Mouse?
That's me right there.
In the Mickey Mouse suit?
Let me tell you about that. This guy was a train engineer, we call it a train, driving a train. And coming from down south, he didn't know that the Mickey Mouse train that hauled their equipment and all this stuff to place had been broken into. And as he's switching tracks or whatever, he sees this Mickey Mouse head laying over on the side of the tracks. So he picked it up, put it in the train with him, and
oh, there you are without the head.
Yeah, and he comes up to me, he said, "Gene Odom, look what I found on the side of the tracks when I was changing tracks somewhere, South Florida." And so I went to a costume party in it, and this guy at the costume party said, "Man, where'd you get that?" I said, "This guy drives a train, found it on the side of the track." And this operator of the train didn't know that the Mickey Mouse train had been broken into. He said, "Man," he said, that's stolen, or it's off of the train and whatever," and he didn't know it. He picked it up. So I said, "Shit." I gave it back to him. I got rid of it.
Well, you got to use it once though before you did.
One time, yeah. I got rid of that quite quick because it makes sense. He said, "That won't be on the side of the road." That was when they go from place to place, they carried a whole train load of Mickey Mouse shit. He said that train had been broken into or something, and that was left on the side of the track, and that's when this guy picked it up.
I'll be damned.
So I got rid of that right quick like. Yeah, me ironworking. This goes way back.
Yeah, those pictures look like they came out of the 70s.
They go way back. I had a couple cows at one time. Had my old aunts and stuff. These old pictures in the military. The boy I was in the army with, snow skiing on Obersalzberg Mountain.
Oh, over in Germany?
Yeah, that's me. Most of my skiing was.
Oh,
like
Gene Odom skiing here, huh?
Yeah, well, I wasn't much on skiing, but I tried it. Zipping down the side of the mountain, Obersalzberg there in Germany.
Who's that character in that tub?
That was me in my little apartment off of base, and the neighbor come in there and took a picture of me. That's basic training. That's
so this is pre-wreck, pre-crash Gene.
Yeah, this is Gene, 1969, 1971. That's Service 15. That's the truck I was driving to go deliver parts after I gave up the welding job. Yep, right. Gene Odom stories. Gene Odom stories.
Well, speaking of stories, while we're on it, Craig wanted me to ask you about that "Give Me 3 Steps" story. And
let me sit down. I gotta sit down.
Yeah.
And well, there's been several different kind of stories about that. And that old one guy named Steve Vest says he was there at W.T. West Tavern when me and Ronnie was there. Of course, Alan Collins. That's not true. I mean, that story is just made up. To get that right story, and I got so much brain damage and everything, I can't remember everything. To make that story factual, you got to get Joe Crimp to tell that story.
Oh, okay.
Because they had left the Hale House going to the store. I don't know who was Ronnie and Gary and Joe Crimp or Alan. I don't know who all was, or Ronnie and Joe Crimp. I just can't remember the whole thing, but Joe Crimp knows that story about when Ronnie came up with the lyrics. And the story with the lyrics, you'd have to match that up with Ronnie Van Zant. So nobody don't know. He'd write songs and you would never know what he was doing. He'd been driving down the road, riding down the road with you. He was putting stuff together in his head, and you wouldn't even know that he was writing lyrics down. I mean, he wasn't writing lyrics down, but he was putting lyrics in his head.
Mentally writing them, yeah.
Mentally writing them down. But there's that story, Joe Crimp knows that story, and it's probably only partial of the story because the story probably went on or the day before, the day after when Ronnie was putting that song together. But Joe Crimp knows it verbatim just about.
Yeah, well, Craig said something about Gary told him that they all had gone down to the store down there on, what's the name of that road that's in front of the Hell House property? That
one, Russell Road.
Yeah, Russell Road. I guess there used to be like a little store there.
Used to be a little country store, yeah.
Yeah, and he said that they were wanting to go get a cold drink and a moon pie or something, and then Gary and Ronnie didn't go. And I'll check this with Joe, and then so those guys left to go to that store, and then Ronnie and Gary said, let's write a song before they get back. And the guys got back a little sooner than they thought, and they heard him coming, and Ronnie said, well, let's hurry up and finish this thing up, and then they went ahead and finished it up. By the time the guys came back in there, they were done with that Gimme 3 Steps. Now Craig says it might have been a different song for that, but I'll check with Joe Crimp and see what he says about that. Yeah.
Well, Joe spent a lot of time with them guys down there because him and Gary was real close, and Joe had a horse on the property, and that's how the property got found, not by Joe Crimp, but they were looking for a place to rehearse, and Dean Kilpatrick was looking, and him and Joe done something, and Joe mentioned about the Hell House, I believe to Dean Kilpatrick, and Dean told him, Ronnie, about it, and then they ended up with the Hell House. But Joe Crimp can tell you stories that I can never remember because of them.
Oh, and the thing about Joe is he's got a mind like a steel trap, and he remembers everything.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, me either. I mean, he'll straighten me out because I forget. Matter of fact, he might have even told me that story already, and I just forgot it. But
and for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, all the stories, oak trees and all that, Joe Crimp was actually riding in the car with Gary.
Yeah.
When they left the Sugar Bowl and Gary hit that tree. That was a week after he hit the tree before, down across from the golf course that nobody knew too much about back then. And Joe didn't know about that till later. But, Joe Crimp was in the car with Gary when Gary hit the tree and bounced off of it and hit the lady's carport.
I remember somebody said something about Gene, that tree that you went to, I don't think that was the right tree. And you said, the hell it ain't. Gary Rawson didn't hit every damn oak tree in Jacksonville.
You just picked the one, yeah. But see, nobody didn't know too much about that. Joe Crimp didn't know about that because Gary didn't even know it. Gary, when he died, he didn't realize that he hit that.
Yeah, that tree that is kind of like that one that you go to is a different tree that he hit.
Yeah, well, the one he hit, that Joe Crimp was riding with him when Ronnie penned the song, those trees don't exist anymore. A hurricane way back blowed all them down, destroyed them, and the county took them out. but Joe Crimp can pinpoint where the tree was.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
he can point to Lady's carport where he hit. And Joe didn't know about the week before, because Gary didn't know anything about it when I went and got Ronnie and to come get Gary out of his car because he was passed out, blacked out. The police officer, Doyle Hollingsworth, said, hey, he's come over here and get him. He's out. I don't want to tow his car. Brand new. He just got it. I'm talking about it wasn't even hours old. And then when he hit the oak tree over by the Sugar Bowl, it was about a week old, his car was.
Good God.
Yeah.
No wonder Ronnie was pissed off at him, huh?
And the first one he hit, he had blacked out, passed out of the wheel, and the car had lost its momentum. And when it hit the oak tree, it just pulled up there and boom, it just stopped because Gary was passed out at the wheel. And it didn't damage the car. The week after that, when he hit the oak tree going from the Sugar Bowl, that's what damaged, I think it was his right front fender. And when he hit the carport, he bounced off of the tree and went over and knocked the pole out in front of the carport. And Joe Crimp knew the guy. His mother come running out of the house.
Yeah.
And the boy come running out, and Joe Crimp knew the guy and said, hey man, this is Gary Rossington. Don't call the police.
He actually, that guy worked with Derek Hess at a music store somewhere.
Yeah.
And Derek, I think Hess found out something about those guys rolling, and they actually went all the way up into the garage, and then he came out, and they're like, oh man, they were glad that they hit somebody's house that they knew.
Yeah.
Because that way they less likely to go to jail. But I guess Gary ended up in the hospital over that, and I don't think Joe even remembered that, but somebody told me he ended up in the hospital. But yeah, Derek Hess.
That probably wasn't from the record, that's probably from the drugs.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
But but Derek Hess was a part of that story too, because he was working with the guy at the music store who the house belonged to, that they hit the tree and then they went up into the garage. So
Carport, yeah, carport
what a
area.
crazy
Gotcha.
story,
Yeah.
huh?
True story.
All right, Gene. Well, just like you say on whenever you're on Facebook, no story tonight other than end of story.
End of story.
Here's another thing that we were going to put on here before I leave. I had a guy do this for me. This is the same thing that I put on the t-shirt. It's a Lynyrd Skynyrd Dean Kilpatrick style drawing that I did. And, and I said, well, I'm going to give this to Gene, because Gene's real handy with wood and stuff like that. And he's going to turn it into a little table. And I believe that's cypress, isn't it, Gene?
Yep, that's cypress.
And it's kind of splitting a little bit, so he's going to, I don't know, that's why I gave it to him, because he's going to work on it and fix it up, maybe put some resin on it and stain it or whatever. And so if anybody's interested in this, Gene will probably sign it for you and then make a little coffee table out of it. And this can be, I think, where you're going to find like a cypress knee or something that somebody has, and try to make a pedestal out of it on the bottom.
Once I put a piece of plywood back here and stiffen it all up and put the resin on it, then I'll put it on a little cypress knee pedestal and have a nice little table.
Yeah, so you got the guitar, you got this, you got the book, and you got the Hell House deck wood that if anybody's interested in any of this stuff, let us know, man. And that'll be better probably for a Skynyrd fan than it would be for Gene hanging on to it, because he'd rather turn it into stitches.
Yeah. Turn it into stitches, exactly right. Turn it into more stitches.
All right, Gene, I just wanted to get that. I want to get that on camera, and I appreciate coming over here and get you to sign that book and that Hell House wood. So thanks, Gene.
Thank you for coming over and taking me to lunch.
All righty.
And
we'll be seeing you next time.
All right.
All right.
See y'all next time too.